Here we are with my old friend, colleague, and Hall of Famer Steve Flink at the US Open, our daily meeting, and we are going to talk about Mr. Novak Djokovic, Steve.
Yes,
First
because
of all-
the other night we only discussed some of his opinions. Now we're going to focus more on his tennis, right?
Yes, on his tennis, is he capable to win this tournament or not? Would he reach probably the fourth semifinals in a row in 4 slams? Because this year he played 3 semifinals.
Yes.
And today, Steve, I wanted to ask him a question, but unfortunately, he uses a strategy which is to answer so long, to give so long answers that it's impossible to make more than 3 questions in the
Now,
whole press conference.
are we talking about Djokovic or Sinner?
Djokovic.
Djokovic, okay. Yeah, okay.
No, I'm talking about
Right,
Djokovic because I said I wanted to ask him a question.
Yeah. And what was
But,
that? What would the question have been?
And the question would have been, dear Mr. Djokovic, are you more satisfied that you reached 3 times the semifinals in 3 different slams, even if you almost play only those, or you are sorry and disappointed because in all those 3 semifinals you never won a set?
Well, of course, in the first one, he lost his first set to Zverev in Australia and then had to retire, so he only played 1 set. But you're right, then a hard-fought straight set loss to Sinner in the French Open, where he had 3 set points in the 3rd set, and finally Sinner beat him badly in the Wimbledon semis when Djokovic was hurting. So you're right, he had the semifinals themselves have not gone the way he would have wanted.
Yeah, so, but would he have been more or less satisfied by the fact that he reached 3 times the semifinals, so he was in the top 4, even if he doesn't play that much, and he's getting older.
Right. It would have been an interesting answer. The way hopefully you're going to have a chance to ask him that question in the next press conference.
Yeah.
As we know, he's going to play Cam Norrie in the 3rd round now, and he beat Cam Norrie a couple of times this year. He beat him at the French Open, also in Geneva before that. Has a really good record against him. I mean, he's unblemished record. He's always dominated Norrie, but he needs to get a little better. He wasn't happy with his performance today at all. He won in 4 sets, but he didn't like the way he was striking the ball, and he didn't look happy on the court at all.
Yeah, and he was asked, why you don't look happy? And he said, it's not that I don't look happy because I'm not happy to play tennis anymore. I'm not happy to compete. It is because I am not happy when I don't play well.
Yeah. And that's a fair response, and he said it on the court as well. In the post-match interview on the court, before he did the full media interview, he was right away said he didn't like the way he played. He gave his opponent credit, as he should, but he looked more. He looked like he had more energy and enthusiasm in the 1st round.
Yeah.
Against Lerner Teen, he was more. That was a night match and more exciting. And today he looked a bit bored at times, but I think that did have a lot to do with the fact that he just didn't like the way he was hitting the ball. He didn't think he was near his best.
Yeah, we were watching the match that Djokovic played against Lerner Teen on the
first round.
Yeah. And we had the impression that sometimes he was struggling when the rally was too long.
Yeah, he was. In the 2nd set especially, that's when the rallies got longer, because in the 1st and 3rd sets, he managed to win the points much more quickly. The rallies shortened it much shorter than they were in the 2nd. So he was struggling for air a little bit more in the 2nd set, which he won in the tiebreak. Today, just a slow start, which he lost in a tiebreak. But then the last 3 sets were pretty straightforward romp for Djokovic, and it puts him in that 3rd round against Norrie. So at least he's giving himself the chance to play his way into form, even if he didn't like his form today.
Yeah, we don't have to forget that if he beats Norrie he will probably have to face one of between Tiafoe, who is still fighting against Dam, or Rune. And if he goes further, then he would have probably Taylor Fritz.
Yes, in the quarters. He's never lost to Taylor Fritz, and he's won a lot of very high-quality matches against Fritz, with tight 2-set matches, one 5-setter in Australia, and another 2 tiebreakers in Turin once. They've had some good ones, but he's beaten them every time. But, of course, this is a Fritz. The Fritz of the past year, starting with last year's U.S. Open, is a better player than he's ever been before. And he'd be playing Fritz in front of a very pro-American crowd in New York, which would make it intriguing. I hope we get to see that match.
Yeah, and okay, we can say something about the fact that today, on the other half of the draw, we had Draper retiring, no?
Yeah. Pulling out of the tournament.
Pulling out of the tournament, which means that the best seeded player in that section is Lorenzo Musetti, who's number 10.
Yes, but let's not ignore the number 24 seed either. Another Italian.
Another Italian, Cobolli. They have to play maybe in the third round. And the only other seeded in that section is the Canadian, Diallo, number 31.
Right.
So there is a chance that one of the two Italians, or the two Italians could play one against the other, to maybe reach the
quarters
of final, to play Sinner in the quarters,
right.
which would have been great in a way for the Italian tennis, but bad because it's a pity that one of them would lose. But years ago, we would have celebrated two Italians in the quarters.
I think you should still celebrate, because either way you get an Italian winner. It's great for Italian tennis regardless.
Yeah, that is true, but now we are a little spoiled.
You are. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess
with Sinner, we always expect him now to win everything.
Yeah, you do. But I would say this, Ubaldo. I think he would have beaten Draper anyway. Now I think, though, the chances for him getting through that section and at the very least being in the semifinals are excellent. And when I looked at, we discussed his draw yesterday, I still don't see anybody down below in the next quarter of the draw that's going to beat him either. I think the chances now, Sinner being in the final is almost a foregone conclusion, the way I look at it.
Yeah. Well, of course, Sinner cannot forget that he lost in Halle one of his few matches by Bublik.
Yes.
But to play Bublik best of 5 set gives him more chances than to play him best of 3.
Yes, and Bublik was playing well at Roland Garros, and then Sinner took care of him there. I know that's clay, but I think he's also going to be very comfortable against Bublik on hard. The grass court was the best place for Bublik to play Sinner.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, thanks a lot to Steve Flink, my old friend, colleague, and Hall of Famer. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Ubaldo.